Afternoon, I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are tracking cloudy skies, some showers and some possible storms later on this afternoon. So it's a very cloudy day today here across southeast Texas. As we look at those weather headlines, I am tracking also some storms that are along the coast. As we get closer towards the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour, we could see some of those storms move closer towards Houston. So don't be surprised if we do see one of those downpours that could bring some wet roadways and hazardous driving conditions. You might want to just give yourself enough time heading home this afternoon because we could see one of these downpours making it inside the Beltway later on today. So hot, humid, isolated showers today, some strong storms expected Saturday. We are expecting that rain to become a bit more scattered and widespread heading into Saturday. This is all thanks to a slow moving front that's making its way further south, and that is going to just bring us that unsettled weather for the weekend. Also, could see some lingering showers into Monday as well. So it's going to be, once again, we're going to be dealing with that unsettled weather pattern where we have those afternoon downpours and cloudy skies, especially for the next few days. So just keep that in mind if you do have those outdoor plans or those pool parties that are scheduled for today. But if you are heading out right now, temps are quite warm. 89 at Bush Airport, 87 at Hobby. We haven't really seen sunshine today, though that's why the temperatures are cooler, but that doesn't mean it's not humid. The humidity and the atmospheric moisture, you're seeing those dew points in the 70s, and it still feels like 100 at Bush Airport, 97 at Hobby, 95 in Angleton. And so just also if you are out and about, maybe along the coast in Galveston, we have a lot of folks walking along the seawall there. Just stay hydrated, practice those heat safety measures, even though it's cloudy and not as sunny. But we also have to keep an eye on the chance for those showers and storms. Maybe if you're heading across the state, travel forecast for today. If you're heading to San Antonio, it's going to be hot and sweltering. They're going to expect to see a high of 100 degrees. 100 out in Austin, Dallas 95, Rio Grande Valley out in Harlingen 98 degrees. So just hot and humid for all of Texas, and we do have that rain chance that's going to be lasting. So for the next few hours, we're going to see those temps in the upper 90s. We could see those storms moving in between 3 and 4 p.m. and then eventually calming down and becoming more scattered and less widespread into the afternoon and evening hours. So as far as your travel forecast, at least for the next few days, looking like I'm having a little bit of trouble with that graphic there. Can't see the forecast data, but for us here across Houston, we are expecting mostly warm conditions. We have the chance for those storms to become more widespread as we head into Saturday afternoon. So if you are out and about, maybe spending time outdoors, just keep in mind, Saturday is going to be the day that we're going to see more of those rain chances, especially just after the 12 p.m. hour. And then eventually, as we look at today we're going to have a marginal risk for flooding. So that's what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. And what that means is that much of southeast Texas is under that 1 out of 4 risk for flooding. So any downpour that moves inland could remain stationary, and we could see some ponding on roadways. So we're just going to have to really keep an eye on that as we go into the afternoon hours. And that's going to be the case for tomorrow as well. Marginal risk for flooding, not a widespread risk or not an increased risk, just the chance that one of these storms could bring us some ponding on roadways. Right now, we have this front just draped over Texas and Louisiana, stretching as far north as the Mississippi River Valley. We are expecting those showers and storms to remain just offshore right now. And we've already seen confirmed reports of water spouts over the Gulf. So just also keep in mind that if those water spouts move closer inland, it could become a tornado. But we're not looking at those wind speeds that are really too concerning with that right now. So we kind of just probably see maybe a land spout, maybe if that does move inland, but that's not really the threat right now. We're usually seeing these that are just offshore over the Gulf. And so we're also looking at those isolated strong storms with some lightning with them off near Freeport. It's looking like the storm activity has died down just a little bit in and around the Galveston area. But as far as Houston is concerned, we are seeing a little bit of some isolated showers that are just inside the loop, but those are fizzling out. It's just mostly cloudy, humid, warm across the area. As we look at this afternoon, we are expecting, like I said, one of these downpours could make their way into the Beltway between the hours of 3 and 4 p.m., and that is going to bring some possible wet roadways and some low visibility, as well as ponding on roadways as we head into those afternoon hours. So just keep that in mind. And then on Saturday, those rain chances becoming a bit more widespread, especially from Galveston along I-45. If you are heading towards the coast tomorrow, I really just keep in mind that it's going to be more of a higher rain chance along our coastal areas. And then once we get closer towards 3-4 p.m., that's when we could see those storms start moving into Houston as that sea breeze frontal boundary moves inland. And again, these nights are going to remain mostly quiet in nature like we've always seen. Usually when we lose that daytime heating, we usually have the loss of that storm energy, and that's why it's usually a quiet night. And so the weather's set up. We have this approaching frontal boundary that's going to be making its way south. I'm refusing to call it a cold front because it's not a cold front. We're going to still see warm conditions still here across southeast Texas, but it is going to keep that weather pattern unsettled as that storm chance is going to start peaking on Saturday and then becoming less widespread into Monday and Tuesday as that frontal boundary continues to move off towards the east of us. So when it comes to the 3-day rainfall accumulations, we could see maybe between an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter. I wouldn't rule out some possible storms that could drop to 2 inches of rain, but that's going to be very isolated. And so those areas that usually could see maybe 2 to 3 inches of rainfall could be the areas that deal with the ponding on roadways and the flooded road conditions as we head into the afternoon hours. So just keep that in mind as well, that we do have that rainfall, maybe accumulation between inch and a quarter, between an inch and a half for the next 2 to 3 days. And so we have a high pressure system situated off towards the west. We have one over Florida, but we're being mainly influenced by this one that's over New Mexico and West Texas. That is really just kind of steering those storms our way for the next few days. And it's going to keep that rain chance in the picture at least through Monday and into Tuesday of next week. Also, we're paying attention to the tropics. The tropics are not active. We have no tropical development expected for the next 7 days. Conditions are mostly quiet across the Atlantic basin. We have some Saharan dust. We also have some wind shear that's really just suppressing any tropical development. But it's important to remember that we are officially in August. And when it comes to August, that's when we usually start seeing the peak of hurricane season, especially when we head towards September. September 10th is that peak date that we really have to keep an eye on. That's when we usually have seen most of the hurricanes and the tropical systems that have impacted the Gulf Coast here across Texas. Has happened in the months of September. So September, even though there's no activity for the next 7 days in the tropics, especially in the Atlantic basin, we still have to keep our eyes peeled at least until November 30th when hurricane season ends. As far as your 7-day forecast, or actually as far as your 10-day forecast, rain chances that you see with those temperatures in blue, that's really going to cause some cooler temperatures. So mid-90s by Sunday. Monday, 94 degrees. Our average high for this time of year, usually 96 degrees, and we're going to be just below that for this weekend as we deal with those rain chances. But that doesn't mean the humidity is not going to be there. We're still going to remain mostly warm and humid. So for your 7-day forecast, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s, rain chances lasting at least through Tuesday. We will see some partly cloudy skies from Wednesday and Thursday with those temps just remaining hot, humid, and sweltering at least for the next 7 days. So definitely keep that in mind if you are spending time out across southeast Texas, or if you have those outdoor events. Well, a lot of activities happening this weekend, and so maybe utilize those indoor events because we could see hot conditions. Not only that, we're going to be dealing with the rain chance that's going to be in the picture. So if you're just now joining our live stream, weather headlines, mostly cloudy day. It looks like it's going to rain out there, and we could see some showers as we head in those afternoon hours. So looking at the conditions, hot, humid, isolated showers today, rain chances becoming more scattered heading into Saturday afternoon. And then we are expecting those lingering showers to last at least until Monday. Temps are mostly warm as well. We are seeing those temps in the upper 80s, low 90s across the area, 84 in Galveston, 89 at Bush Airport. We could see some areas that will see those 90-degree temps, but also for the heat index, or the feels like temps, it feels like 100 at Bush Airport, 101 in Sugar Land, 97 at Hobby, 94 at Bush Airport. So just keep that in mind that once we head into these afternoon hours, we will see the possibility for some of that daytime heating to fuel some storm activity. And if you're traveling out west to San Antonio, Austin, stay hydrated because they're going to see a high of about 100 degrees, especially during the afternoon hours. And so looking at the afternoon by 4 p.m., that's when we could see more of our rain chances return, but we are expecting those conditions to remain just mostly unsettled as we head into the weekend. And like I said, also, marginal risk for flooding, isolated flooding possible through tomorrow. That's what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. And so as we look at that radar, mostly calm right now in Houston, but there is some storms that are just offshore Galveston that are producing some water spouts. We've had some reports on that earlier this morning. We're seeing those storms just moving further away from the coast, but just keep in mind that you see this storm just south of Freeport. That could start moving inland. Not that they're going to produce any type of spin-ups here across the Houston area, but we could get some heavy rain and some lightning with that as we progress through the next few hours, and that's going to be the case for at least for the next few days. So as far as your 7-day forecast, expect those temps to continue once again to be warm, hot, humid. Practice those heat safety measures. Look before you lock. Definitely wear light-colored clothing. It's looking more likely that we're not going to see that sunshine, so I think light-colored clothing is not going to be too much of a factor, but at least for the next 7 days, we are expecting a mostly stormy weekend. So if you have those outdoor plans, you might want to just utilize the earlier times of the day in the morning hours, because it's all fair game once we head into after the noon hour that we could see those storms start flaring up, especially for Saturday and into Sunday. So definitely stay safe out there and stay hydrated, as well as maybe take an umbrella with you if you are heading out and about. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your KHOU 11 Plus extended forecast. Make sure to tune in later today at 4 p.m. for our KHOU 11 newscast, as well as Chief Meteorologist David Paul. He'll have more for you on your weekend outlook later this afternoon.